Okay.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to Tony's podcast and Sleep Hacks. Today, I'm excited to have a special guest all the way from Miami, Juan Felipe Pineda. How are you?
Very good, Tony. Happy to be here with you. Thank you so much for the invitation.
It's great to
Talk to
have
you.
you. Great to have you. So listen, while you're soaking it up in South Florida, enjoying the weather, and we're all cold, freezing somewhere else, tell us about you. Give us some of your background.
Sure. Well, I was in, let's put it this way. I was in the corporate world for about 20 years, working for big multinational companies, managing their business, primarily in Latin America and a few cases in the US as well, with general management responsibility until 3 years ago that I decided to venture on my own and started my career on the Amazon and e-commerce space.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. What was the reason for that point that you came to? What made you want to decide to go that route?
Sure. After living 20 years in corporate America, I get to the point where I guess a lot of people get into, and it's that you get fed up of all the corporate politics. You're held back, obviously, in promotions. You're always one day away from being fired off, either by a bad month or a bad boss. So after seeing many people going in and out from all the companies that I work off, many divisions closed, many bosses that I've saw that have been fired, I said it got to a point that I said, you know what, I want to start my own business. So I decided to do what I've ever done, which is sell toys. That's my main category.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to venture online with toys. Primarily nowadays I sell all kind of things,
Mm-hmm.
over, I would say, 2,000 different SKUs from all sort of categories. And I like to always clarify, it's kids toys. I don't sell any other sort of adult toys or anything like that. It's just kids toys. So I sell a bunch of stuff, but anything but adult toys.
Right. Let me ask you this. What are the unique challenges when you're dealing with a seasonal item, such as toys? What it must have its own sets of challenges.
Yeah, you know what? The biggest challenge that has arisen this year that we as sellers never thought it would come to is the limits that Amazon is putting in place of the inventory that you can send to Amazon as we get close to the year. So for example, let's say I have this toy and I'm selling constantly 100 units every month. Well, Amazon is looking at my back history and say, well, for the last 6 months, he's been selling 100 units. But the difference is that when Christmas comes by, I don't sell 100 units. I'm going to sell probably 2,000 units of that SKU. Yeah. So Amazon is only allowing me to send another 100 units, maybe 200 units, but it's not going to let me now to sell 2,000 units. So the challenge that I'm going to be forced now is that I'm going to have to open another warehouse, a 3PL party that's going to fulfill those orders. Because unfortunately, Amazon has capped me at the average of my previous months. So that's the biggest challenge that I'm facing this year with seasonal items that I never faced before. I mean, before it was nice, as long as you have a good allowance in terms of storage within Amazon, which I always had. I never reached my maximum.
Yeah,
it was perfect. But this year, the rules of the game have changed dramatically.
Is that eating a lot into your profit margin, or are you able to raise your prices?
No, I won't be able to raise the price, unfortunately. As you know, there's plenty of competitors on Amazon. Mm-hmm. I don't consider a competitor somebody who's just the same product that I have. I consider a competitor any other toy, because people have options.
Yeah.
So it's not an option just to raise the price. I mean, you could raise it a couple of dollars here and there, but not considerably. So yes, it's gonna eat into the margins, and it becomes more of a survival mode. I mean, who can resist the longer? Who can keep on pushing the most amount of products, serve the customers well, and maintain their ranking, so that when Amazon takes away these limits, you can come in and have a good ranking and good sales velocity.
Right. Now, you said you have such a wide range of products and over 2,000 SKUs. How do you manage that? What kind of tools or softwares or what kind of strategies would you advise people who have such a huge range?
Yeah, I came across a website now. I mean, yeah, it's a website or a tool. It's called Seller Mobile, and it's been a game changer.
Okay.
Because so far, and I've played with a lot of tools so far, the tools that were out there were good for managing inventory, but they were not that good at forecasting. They were not that good at placing orders. They weren't not that good at calculating the amount of money you were leaving on the table.
Yeah.
And Seller Mobile came up with all these different tools that allow you to manage the business better than ever, to the point that I get a daily email that tells me, hey, if you don't restock this item, you will lose $5,000 in sales in the next 7 days. Wow. So basically what the software is doing a lot of calculations behind the scenes and telling you exactly what you do. Once obviously you have set up all the data, right?
Yeah.
And all your lead times and so forth. But the software is amazing. And I've been, like I said, I've been in the corporate world before, and I could tell you that the only place where I've seen a software so close in certain things, it's the Walmart software, which had that way to forecast the future. Really? Seller Mobile, for example, has a feature that it could go 2-3 years back.
Wow.
And tell you exactly how much you sold that month. So it accounts for the seasonability of the product if you have all that history. So with that history, it becomes fairly easy to know how much you're going to sell the next month, how much you're going to sell the next Christmas, how much you're going to sell the next year. And that way you can plan ahead of time.
Really? That's amazing.
So the key is to jump in these kind of softwares, let them start collecting the data, and the more data you collect, the easier it becomes to manage the inventory. Of course, when I have 2,000 SKUs, that doesn't mean that I'm selling constantly 2,000 SKUs all year round. There's a lot of those SKUs that have come out of wholesale accounts, that have come out of online arbitrage, retail arbitrage. When I've been into those, I would say I haven't stopped doing those opportunities. If I see something where I can make money, yeah, I'll do it right away. Because
what are the basic challenges? I'm going to ask you for like a new person starting out. What are the basic challenges versus what you're describing, almost like a wholesale or arbitrage model versus the Amazon private label? Which route would you recommend? Which is doing better for you?
Excellent question. To start out, I would definitely recommend retail arbitrage.
Okay.
And online arbitrage. It's the way to get down in the system, get to know Seller Central, how to prepare a shipment. You rather make a mistake with 3 units than doing a mistake with 300 units. It's easy to screw up with a shipment. It's easy to screw up if you don't label them correctly. So I would say the best part always, even if you have, and I know a lot of people want to jump straight into private label, and congratulations for those who have been able to make it. But for the average person, it's retail arbitrage. Even if you're just making $1, $2 per item, you're just paying for your education. And the important thing as well is to learn very well how to manage Seller Central, the Amazon accounts. Yeah. Because it can get pretty complicated if you don't go through all the parts. And nowadays, I would say one of the biggest challenges, although we have multiple groups where you and I share and masterminds, is that everything is done by yourself online. So you got to find a way on how to learn fairly quickly the system. And the only way to do it is doing it yourself and jumping in there and playing with the tool.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I still remember my journey on Amazon. It was almost 5 years ago when we weren't doing anything close to what we're doing now, and we had got suspended early. And that, to me, that was almost like a little heart attack, you know. And then, you know, I got that resolved within a day, and we were back online. But after that point, I had to know every granular detail, and that made the whole difference for us to scale, because you can only outsource so much. You really have to know. It's like your car. I use this example. Like, even though you don't have to be a mechanic, but you have to kind of know the basics of your car. So when you take it in, they tell you, oh, you need this, you need this. You can still make an educated decision, you know. And that's where we have to be with Amazon, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, I agree. I don't like to scare people, but it is a complex machine, and it is a complex software. And you need to take the time to learn it, to master it. And I see many people shy away once they go in, just because they don't understand the mechanics, they don't understand all the process.
Yeah.
And what I tell everybody from the beginning is like, listen, just go study. Take this like if it was university. Like if you went through college and you gotta take a semester, because it will take you at least 6 months to master it, or not to master it, not to get to play with it. It'll take you years to master it. But and study full time. Like I said, study full time every day. Go 2 hours, at least 3 hours. I go every hour literally, and I study every day 1 hour, whether it's with a webinar or one class that I've downloaded, or the masterminds that I belong to. But I dedicate myself 1 hour a day to learn something about the business. I like to do the comparison also that it's like being in this business is like being a doctor. You won't stop studying. You will not stop studying. There's so much stuff coming our way, and it changes so fast also. And like you said also, it's impossible to know it all. So we try to learn more and more and more just to make sure we can jump into the new trends. But obviously, some of them we're not going to execute them. But we're aware they are there. They're out there, and if it's working for somebody or for companies, then we might tap into somebody else to do it for us. But we just got to be aware of what's going on there. There's a lot of stuff going on at the same time.
Are you a big fan of Helium 10? Do you use your black box or other strategies to research new products?
Huge fan of Helium 10. Huge fan. I'm a diamond in Helium 10, and even now starting to play with the ads that they have, the new module to manage your PPC.
Yeah.
So I was playing with that last weekend, and now they're coming. There's a big announcement. They're coming with an inventory management solution.
Really?
I think they're going to announce tomorrow. It is. I signed up already for the webinar, which I'm excited to see how that works, how that's going to work compared to what Seller Mobile has right now.
Yeah.
Because I've been rooting for Helium 10 to come up with a lot more tools, so you could have everything integrated in one place. Because the one thing.
Yeah. So are you happy with the PPC so far within the Helium 10? Because I haven't activated it yet, but I've heard mixed reviews on it.
Listen, it just launched, and I've just done one campaign. I literally started 2 days ago, so I'm not sure. But what can I tell you is that I love how easy and fast you can create a campaign, and how easy and fast you can move keywords around from one campaign to another one.
Interesting.
I cannot tell you results because 1 week of data is not enough.
Yeah.
And the suggestions that the software made for me last week were not that many, because I had that campaign already optimized quite a bit. So I came out with, I don't know, 10 different solutions, or I mean suggestions for the suggestions. But it's in beta mode. Beans is gonna start his training the 15th of September. There's gonna be 4 trainings. I'm looking for those trainings, because so far the only thing that I've learned was through the tutorials, which are fairly short. So I did the tutorials and then I jump ahead and went and started playing with it. But I can tell that the tool so far looks good. I've played with other tools before for PPC management.
Yeah.
And so far I would say this is my favorite or the easiest one to use. The interface is very friendly. Gotta see what the algorithm is gonna do behind. And I know it's in beta still, so we'll see. The one thing I can tell is that Vince knows a lot about PPC, and they've been inviting to Helium 10 headquarters strong people in the PPC, like Destiny. So I'm sure they're gonna do a good job. They're gonna put all their effort behind it. This is a big pain point for every single seller.
Yeah.
Even more than I would say listing optimization or keyword research or a lot of these other stuff that Helium has already, because a lot of competitors have come up with the same solutions, but there are not that many strong on the PPC arena. I could count like 5.
Do you actually create your
software companies out there?
Create your campaigns within within the Helium 10 instead of Seller Central?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
With Helium 10, and it's a beauty how it works. You can create 3 campaigns with literally a few clicks. Your exact, your phrase, your automatic, everything at once. So it's a time saver. In the past, if you wanted to do that fast, you would have to do it with bulk uploads. Now with Helium 10, you just do it there.
Wow.
Fairly simple. It walks you through. It makes you the suggestions. So I like it. So far, I like it. We'll see if it does the job behind the scenes. But so far, the setup, it couldn't be any easier. It's great. Wow. And the way you can dump the keywords that you've already researched through Cerebro, for example, is very easy. You're doing it just in one platform instead of jumping from Excel spreadsheets or Helium to your Seller Central, which is a little bit cumbersome because sometimes, even though you copy your keywords, sometimes you put them on Seller Central, and if it's not perfectly in the format, then you have to go back again and make sure there's no commas or everything is in lines.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
It's a lot easier. I like it. It's simplifying the work for us.
You know what? Let me ask you this, because I had just disabled. I was using their follow-up tool for their email, and I just got the notice today that starting November that we're not allowed to proactively really message people unless we have a particular reason, regarding their order or whatever. So I decided to just disable it today. But are you using their follow-up as well?
That's a good question. Listen, I got in trouble with the tool, and I'm not using it out of caution. And I'm glad you just told me that. I didn't know that's the new rule coming out. This is what happened with Amazon. There's a rule every day. So that's why I like to talk to people like you and be involved in so many calls and masterminds. Last year, I was sending a 2 email sequence.
Okay.
Once they receive it, to make sure they receive it well, blah, blah. And then the second email was, well, I'm glad you enjoyed. Would you mind leaving me an honest review? Yeah. All TOS compliance up to there. Suddenly, Amazon made a change, and I was not aware. It caught me out of guard that you can only send 1 email, not 2. 1 email. And boom, I was banned from sending any emails for 30 days. Well, guess what? I didn't know that. I didn't recall reading that email. I didn't read that email. I get so many emails from Amazon. That's probably you do. Yeah. So many emails every day for everything. For everything. Oh, so I didn't read that email, that notification, and the software automatically kept on sending 2 emails for probably another month.
Oh my God!
Until I got that again, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what have I done? And then I stopped all the campaigns. I can send emails now, but I said, you know what? I'm just gonna let it rest for a while. I don't want to get suspended.
Yeah.
So I totally stopped sending emails, and the only email that I send nowadays is the official email that Amazon lets you send to request a review, which is a very standard email that you know.
Okay.
And I'm doing that. Helium 10 came up with the button to do it, but I just don't like to do it manually. So I do that through Feedback 5.
Right. Is that an app you can use? Because I know there's a bunch of apps that make a request now for a review.
Yeah, well, yes, Helium 10 has the app, but you have to do it manually, like 25 orders at a time.
Okay.
And so you gotta go every day and hit the bottom and hit the bottom. And I mean, I try to automate everything. So Feedback 5 review does it for you automatically. So you don't have to go and do it manually every day.
Okay.
So I have them doing that for me. And thanks God, thank you that you told me you can't sell any more emails. Definitely. I was actually planning to do a sequence, one email only for one product that comes with instructions, and I just wanted to send those instructions on the email to make sure they don't lose it, because sometimes I receive questions from customers that how to do this, how to do that, and everything is in the instructions. So I just wanted to follow up with that PDF. But now that you're telling me that, I'm not gonna do
I
it.
just saw that somebody had posted it in the. I'm a member of. I don't know if are you a member of the Ecom crew? I'm a member of those guys as well. So
No.
yeah.
Who manages that group?
It's a guy. It's a pair. Their name is Dave and Mike.
No.
Well, you know how it is. There's so many groups out there, so many YouTube channels. It's like hard to keep track these days. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
and the thing is, what I tell people is you have to be very careful, because we talked about this before, even that we don't know the credibility of everybody. We don't know how well they're doing. Things change, and you have to be cautious. You know.
Yeah. I've come to the conclusion that you got to try to follow 3 people and that's it. Stick to that. I mean, and got the opinion from 3, but that's it. I mean, there's so many groups, so many wannabe gurus out there.
Yeah.
Posting pictures with the Lamborghinis that they just rented for an hour, not even for the day, for an hour. And those are not the real gurus.
Yeah.
You and I know a couple of really serious sellers, and what I like about them, I'm always impressed, is that they drive regular cars. Just because we're talking about this. And to one of those guys, very successful, I told him, hey, but why do you drive this regular car? How come you don't have a Mercedes, BMW, whatever, not even Ferrari or Lamborghini, like a fancier car than his regular Toyota? He was like, one, because I'm a businessman first and foremost. I mean, I'm not gonna waste $200,000 in a Lamborghini or Ferrari. I'd rather put the money in my business or buy real estate, which he has done anyway. And he has bought real estate, which he rents out, and he makes money out of it, and he's building up multiple streams of income. And I was like, you know what? He's right. Every successful business owner out there, not Amazon. We're talking about any business. I mean, from restaurants to retail to, I don't know, a plumbing company. Those guys, they don't go out when they first make their first $100,000. They don't go out and lease a Lamborghini or a Tesla. They keep on driving the same car. They keep on living in the same house, and they start growing their business. They buy, maybe if it's a plumber, they'll buy a second truck. They'll hire 2 more people. They'll expand their warehouse. So it's the same mentality at Amazon. So I like to follow people that don't drive Lamborghinis and Ferrari, just the real businessmen.
Look at Warren Buffett. He had the same car for 25 years, very humble, which is great.
Same house.
Yeah.
The same house.
Listen,
he loves to drink Coca-Cola and hamburgers.
On the podcast. Give us your one big tip that you can give for new sellers. Like, do you think people could be as successful today as people starting from 4 or 5 years ago?
Yes, I think they could be very successful if they start today. Yeah. There's many tools out there. I would say reach out to one of the groups that are out there that could help you, and follow your passion. Like a lot of people say, follow your passion, find out what you like, find a niche. But I'm sure you can be very successful. There's more opportunities now than ever to launch products. and many platforms. It doesn't have to be Amazon. I mean, you can be very successful on Etsy. I know people that only sell on Pinterest, and they're very successful there. So pick a niche that you like, and pick a platform and master it, and you'll be extremely successful.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That was perfect.